Welcome class to today's science lesson. Recently we've been learning about our 6 simple machines in science class, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at one of those simple machines, being an inclined plane. Now before we go more in depth as to what an inclined plane is and how we use it, we're going to take a look at 2 vocabulary terms that we learned earlier this year, and those are gravity and force. You remember that gravity is the force that attracts objects towards the earth, and force is a push or pull exerted on an object. So for example, we see our stick figure down here throwing a ball, and he has to exert a certain amount of force to throw that ball in the air. And eventually we see the ball stops and drops down to the ground, and that is because gravity is pulling down on that ball to make it fall down to the ground. Now, let's see what an inclined plane is. As I said earlier, an inclined plane is one of our 6 simple machines, and we use simple machines to make work easier for us. Specifically, an inclined plane is a flat surface that is tilted at an angle. And its use is used to make moving objects over vertical distances, so up and down, easier. As we see here, our stick figure is rolling a ball up an inclined plane, and over here he's pushing the ball down an inclined plane. Now, when I talked about vertical distances, it would be from the bottom of the triangle to the top. So it's way easier for our stick figure to roll his ball up the inclined plane or down the inclined plane than it is for him to lift the ball up from the bottom to the top.
Alright, so let's talk about some different examples of inclined planes. First, as you see, we have a handicap ramp, which you might see outside of school or outside of a hospital, outside of a doctor's office, and it's used to help get people in wheelchairs in and out of buildings easier, especially when there would be stairs that would be tough for them to get over. It's easier for them to be rolled up the ramp or roll themselves up the ramp than it would be to lift themselves or be lifted up the stairs. A hill is another example of an inclined plane. You see it every day. You see it at the park or while you're driving or while you're running, and you know that it would be easier to go up that hill than it would be to go directly the distance from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill in a straight vertical way. Now slides, they're a fun example of inclined planes. You see them at the park and on the playground outside of school, and it'd be easier and safer for you to go down the slide than it would be for you to just jump off the distance that would be from the ground to the top of the slide. Another example, it would be a loading ramp. As you see, there's a guy loading some stuff into a truck. It'd be easier for you to roll something up the ramp than it would be to lift a box straight up from the ground and put it into the truck. You use less force and you get tired less quickly. A boat ramp is another example. If you've ever gone fishing or maybe tubing or just out on the lake with your family or friends, you've seen a boat ramp where they lower the boat into the water slowly, and it's easier and safer than if you were to just drop the boat straight into the water, because then the boat could fill with water, it just could be a mess and be very dangerous. And the last one you see is a ramp at a skate park. Maybe you've been to a skate park, or maybe you've watched the X Games or something on TV, and you've seen people riding on skateboards or scooters or bikes, and they're going up these jumps and they're going down in the half pipes. And you'll see that it would be easier for them to cover the vertical distance from the ground to the top when they're going up a ramp than it would be for them just to jump straight up. So, as we've talked about some earlier, we're going to talk about more now. Let's look at the benefits of using an inclined plane. As we've talked about, it uses less force to get an object from the ground to the top if you're using an inclined plane to get it up there. So, that's much easier, and the steeper the incline, the harder it is to push an object up a hill. So if, say you're running up a hill, it's going to take a lot more effort and you're going to get a lot tired more tired quickly if you were running up a steeper hill than if you were running up a hill maybe at this angle. And it'd be directly the opposite for going down a hill. The steeper the hill down, the faster you're going to go and the less energy it's going to take than if you were just running down a small slope. And finally, and this is a lesser use of the inclined plane, not used as much as for easier work, but it's also to protect an object on the way down. Say you're jumping off of a playground. If you were to jump off the playground, you would risk getting hurt, maybe twisting an ankle or hurting your feet or knees, than it would be if you just went down the slide, which would be a lot less impact. It might be easier too, less tiring. And these are all benefits of using inclined planes. Now that we've talked about this, I hope that you will properly fill out your notes sheet, and we'll see you in class where we're going to have some fun activities and you're going to get to use some critical thinking and inquiry.